above the tracks and then fell, like someone shaking a kink out of a lawn hose. Going for the door handle, he let go of the throttle, the dead man switch, taking over and cutting ancient power. He lost his footing and fell to the floor of the cab, his brain numb and in shock. He didn't know whether to jump or ride it out. He would later tell investigators that the noise was like nothing he'd ever heard, like nothing that could be described, part scream, part explosion, a deafening, immobilizing dissonance, while the smell of steel sparking on steel rose in his nostrils and sickened his stomach to where he sat puking on the oily cab floor, crying out as loudly as he could in an effort to blot out that sound. He felt all 10 tons of the ancient car tip heavily right, waver there, precariously balanced up on one rail, and then plunge to the earth, the whole string of freights buckling and bending and dying behind him in a massive pileup. He saw a flatbed fly overhead, only the blue sky behind it. This, his last conscious vision, incongruous and unfathomable. For 40 long seconds, the cars collided, tumbled, shrieked, and flew as they ripped their way through the soil and forest, carried by momentum until an ungainly silence settled over the desecrated track, and the orange, red, and silver leaves fell out of a disturbed sky as if laying a blanket over the face of a corpse. Chapter 1, 6 weeks later. Darkness descends quickly in December. In the flaming blue light of a camp stove, a man's breath fogged the chattering boxcar as he struggled to warm a can of Hormel chili, the aroma mixing with the smell of oil and rust. The faint vapor of his breath sank toward the planking and then dissipated. Umberto Alvarez thumped his fist onto the floorboards, the feeling in his fingers lost to the cold, and then cupped both hands around the small stove, wishing for more heat. The train rumbled. The can danced atop the stove. Alvarez reached out and steadied it, burning himself. Be careful what you wish for, he thought. The train's whistle blew, and he checked his watch. Nearly 10 o'clock. The last significant slowing of the freight train had occurred 10 minutes earlier in Terre Haute. Alvarez had taken careful note of this, for at that speed, a person could get on or off the moving train, important to know for any rider. His reconnaissance almost completed, this trip, Indianapolis to St. Louis, would be his last ride for a while. Thank God. Behind him in the boxcar, Whirlpool dishwashers were stacked 3 high, their cardboard boxes proclaiming, "Whisper quiet," as the rattle of steel on steel shook his teeth. Alvarez's fatigue-ridden eyes peered out from beneath a navy blue knit cap that he had pulled down to try to keep warm. Still unruly black hair escaped the cap in oily clumps. A brown turtleneck was pulled up over his unshaven chin to keep out the cold. It protruded from beneath a rat-holed sweatshirt, over that a faded fleece vest that had once been turquoise. The stacked dishwashers occupied half the boxcar, secured by tattered webbing straps, held together by cast-iron buckle clasps. The rhythm of the wheels on rail, 2 loud bumps followed by whining steel, followed again by the 2 bumps, contributed to Alvarez's pounding headache, a sound that would remain with him for days, on or off the lines, a sound that lived in any rider's bones. Cha-cha-hum, cha-cha-hum. Pale blue light from the fire ring limited his vision. He could barely see to either end of the 40-foot boxcar. There was spray paint graffiti there, if he remembered right, or maybe that had been another car, another day, another line. It all blended together. Time, weather, hunger, exhaustion. He'd lost track. The train could move him physically from one destination to another, but it couldn't change the way he felt. The weary darkness that surrounded him had little to do with the dim flicker of the stove. It lived inside him now. His grief was suffocating him. Minutes earlier, the open cracks at the edges of the boxcar's huge sliding door had flickered light from a small town. The train's driver sounded the locomotive's horn on approach. Through the car's rough slats, street lamps cast shifting ladders of light throughout, reminding Alvarez uncomfortably of prison bars.